dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the International Solar Alliance, I welcome you all to the first World Solar Technology Summit that's being held on a virtual platform. This summit aims to bring together eminent dignitaries, stakeholders, policymakers, scientists, technology developers, researchers, and innovators to showcase and promote state-of-the-art next-generation solar technologies worldwide. It also hopes to provide an opportunity to key decision makers and developers to share their experience and expertise to facilitate capacity building and the absorption of research and development in the field of solar technology amongst ESA member countries. More than 26,000 participants from 153 countries have registered for this virtual summit being organized on this scale for the first time. There are many more thousands viewing this live on YouTube. The Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry have partnered with ESA for this summit. We warmly welcome the Honorable Minister for Power, New and Renewable Energy and Skill Development, Government of India, and President of the ESA Assembly, His Excellency, Mr. R.K. Singh. A warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of Ecological Transition, Government of France, and Co-President of the ESA Assembly, Her Excellency, Ms. Barbara Pompili. It is our privilege to also welcome Nobel Laureate, Dr. M. Stanley Whittingham, Director and Professor of Chemistry, Institute for Materials Research and Materials Science and Engineering Program, Binghamton University, New York. We're also honored to have with us today Ms. Kadri Simpson, Commissioner for Energy, European Commission. Ms. Simpson is representing the Honorable President, European Commission. His Excellency Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. His Excellency Mr. Marc Dedreve Ablebidamon, Honorable Minister of Mines and Energy, Togolese Republic and Vice President of the ESA Assembly, Africa Region. His Excellency Mr. Luis Miguel Inchaustegui, Honorable Minister of Energy and Mines, Republic of Peru, and Vice President of the ESA Assembly, Latin America and Caribbean Region. His Excellency Honorable Ambassador Clara Gattit, Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Rwanda. Dr. Bharendra Yogi Swami, Distinguished Professor in Chemical Engineering and Director of the Clean Research Center, University of South Florida. Mr. Bertrand Piccard, Chairman, Solar Impulse Foundation. Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India. And His Excellency, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, Director General, International Solar Alliance. Before we begin the proceedings, let us all observe a minute's silence in the memory of all those who lost their lives battling the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you, Excellencies. I now request the Director General, International Solar Alliance, His Excellency, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, to welcome all our distinguished guests.
Excellencies, Mr. President of the ESA Assembly, Co-Presidents, Vice Presidents from Togo, Tonga, Peru, and the UK representing the ESA governance structure, Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas from the GOI, who has promised to take ESA's coalition for sustainable climate action to a new height and orbit. Honorable Ministers from Rwanda and the EU, the Nobel Laureate, Mr. Whittingham, the father of the lithium-ion battery, and the son pilot recorded, Mr. Piccard, Secretaries to Government of India, Secretary MNL particularly, Mr. Indu Chakrabarti, and Secretary to GOI and our prospective partners today, University of South Florida, International Institute of Refrigeration, Green Growth Global Institute, NTPC, and World Bank. Mr. Ratan Tata, who has made us proud with his visual presence, guests in the CEO session, technical sessions, and valedictory, brothers and sisters. I welcome you to the Aisha family function today. I take this opportunity for an unusual welcome. Aisha is an action-oriented organization. I welcome of Aisha for the future. And these are the precise things we welcome from Aisha, these action points for the next year. I welcome Aisha's Technology Charter and launch it on this occasion. This will be a technology task force looking into technology needs of our member countries. I welcome Aisha's new MBA program in renewable technologies to be launched with the help of Delhi IIT. I welcome the undergraduate program in the same space that will help our seeds and LDC countries in technological capacity building. Fourth, I welcome Aisha's training of 35,000 solar mechanics in virtual mode in its 7 program areas. And number 5, I welcome the new initiatives with the SARC Fund, with IPSA, that is India, Brazil, South Africa, technical assistance projects, and the promising, the counterpart of this technology event, the World Solar Investment Summit in January next. In fact, Aisha has 2 important I's, I call it. One is capital, the other is technology. Our first event today is for technology, and the other event will be for capital, where the who's and who's of investment will be present. I welcome the One Sun, One World, One Grid, of which we signed a partnership agreement today, the World Bank, MNRE, and Aisha, and this is a very promising start to have a report. I, at the 7th point, welcome solarization of 1 million diesel pumps to solar in our member countries, which provides win-win situation for mankind. And this partnership we are going with GGI. Point 8, I welcome Aisha's upcoming journal Compass 360, Solar Compass 360. In fact, the name itself indicates that we are going to have a compass of solar and it moves 360 degrees. And I welcome our new SISCA partners who will get us $5 million to our purpose. I welcome you all to the proposed World Solar Investment Summit that I mentioned to be held next. An unusual welcome, but this is what Aisha stands for. It stands for action, rapid deployment of solar action, and we are very grateful to the host country, India, particularly my colleague who is Secretary MNRE, who has been giving us a very good helping hand, and of course the guidance of the Assembly, the Standing Committee, and all the delegates. Your support and your inspiration has actually inspired this action agenda that I made this morning. Thank you all. Thank you for the presence and the time and your love for International Solar Alliance. Together, we'll make great strides under the framework agreement. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Tripathi. I now request Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, to address the gathering and set the context for the first World Solar Technology Summit.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. I would like to acknowledge my senior colleagues, ministers from the Government of India, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, Shri R.K. Singh, Mr. Upendra Tripathi of the ISA, my colleagues from all over the world, our friends, Mr. Bernard Picard, Dr. Stanley Whittingham, and everyone else here. Thank you very much, and this is indeed a very important event where the first World Solar Technology Summit is taking place, and is taking place on such a large scale. It is a long time from the invention of the lithium-ion battery and other methods of storing solar energy. And solar energy today has become a very, very powerful source of providing energy at relatively modest costs. And this is something which we have to acknowledge. But we also must keep in mind that while the recent use of solar energy has bordered on what appears to be miraculous, it has had an extremely long haul, and it's as early as the 1970s when Dr. Whittingham and his colleagues pioneered the lithium-ion battery, and so it takes time for basic research to go into translation. Our challenge today, as we encounter the problems of climate change, is how can we more rapidly and more efficiently harness solar energy for a variety of uses in a manner where the damage to the environment and to our greenhouse gas emission is minimal or reduced to an extent which is manageable. This is a big challenge. The biggest user of solar energy and most efficient user of solar energy are around us for hundreds of millions of years, and these are plants. Plants have the ability of capturing solar energy and transforming them for their growth, using atmospheric carbon dioxide in the process and releasing oxygen. This is something which has taken even much longer than what we have done as engineers. In other words, evolution has taken hundreds of millions of years to do something which is reasonably efficient on an enormous scale. Now, the question arises, can we do something in our impact on a significant scale? And there, while solar energy has been very valuable, it poses some challenges which need to be addressed on a much more rapid time scale. That time scale typically deals with the ability to store solar energy and reuse that rapidly. Solar energy, by definition, is available during the day, but humans need clean energy 24/7. India ratified the Paris Agreement on 2016, and we are committed to reducing our greenhouse gases. And our energy sector dominates emission, accounting for about 69% of total emissions, of which 49% is attributed to electricity and heat generation. And agriculture also contributes a large amount. So in this situation, both in terms of reducing our energy imports through crude oil, natural gas, coal, petroleum products, and so on, we need to have an innovative way for energy sufficiency. Solar provides a route to that, and with other technologies such as those involved in generation of hydrogen. And therefore, this partnership between energy generation and energy storage is something very important, and the Solar Alliance may want to consider examining this as a next step. It is not necessarily the most energy efficient manner, but at least a capacity to have storage in addition to generation is something which will be truly transformative, particularly for a country like India, where imports of natural gas, petroleum products is rather substantial. So India, for example, we have set to a target to install 175 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2022. 100 gigawatts from solar and the rest from wind, biomass, and small hydropower. India's emission mitigation policy is centered on electricity to expand to transportation, industrial and agricultural sectors as well. And therefore, it's critical to reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels while ensuring rapid growth in manufacturing. Green hydrogen through solar energy is a route now. India, having achieved a substantial solar energy footprint, can choose to look at. So green hydrogen provides a roadmap to achieve energy security and pollution abatement, and also ensure India is continuing to be in the path of growth. So green hydrogen is typically produced using renewable energy through electrolysis to split water into hydrogen and oxygen, and does not use fossil fuels and produces zero or very low CO2. And the use of fuel cells after that allows the storage of energy either as hydrogen or as fuel cells to power different kinds of movement and energy using technologies. So this is something which I'd like to suggest while we focus from the research perspective on new kinds of solar cells and storage mechanisms to use for cells and batteries. It is important also to look at how one can store energy in a manner which is green and usable. I won't take much longer here, but I'd like to congratulate the the International Solar Alliance and everyone for all their initiative. And the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor is available along with our scientists to assist in every possible way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Vijay Raghavan. We are very grateful to the Honorable Ministers from the Government of India for joining us today. However, due to a cabinet engagement which will commence shortly, they will have to leave the meeting early and will be speaking now. I now request Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, to present his address.
Sri R.K. Shriji, President of International Solar Alliance, Assembly and my ministerial colleague, Her Excellency Ms. Barbara Pampili, Co-President of ISA Assembly and Minister of Ecological Transition of France, distinguished Nobel Laureate, Dr. Mr. Stanley Whittingham, Her Excellency Kadri Simpson, European Commission of Energy, Honorable Minister representing various ISA member countries, Director General of ISA, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, distinguished speakers, friends from the media. Good afternoon. I extend a warm welcome to all at the World Solar Technology Summit by International Solar Alliance. It is indeed a privilege for me to be speak at this inaugural World Solar Technology Summit with leading academic scientists, technology developers, researchers and innovators and policymakers in solar energy sector. In our collective journey to make solar energy technologies not only available to all countries but also make them adaptable and affordable for common people, the summit will play a seminal role. We are pleased that the first summit level meeting is taking place in India. At the largest intergovernmental international organization with its headquarters in India, ISA is not only a testament to India's unwavering faith in multilateralism, but also a commitment to a better, sustainable and green future. The ISA has been making rapid strides since its launch at the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris on 30 November 2015, the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and the then French President. The Alliance reflects the vision and the firm belief that the benefits of the sun could be used to bring together the people of this planet for a shared solution to our energy needs. The desire behind that vision has always been to make solar energy accessible and affordable for the poor by addressing the various financial and technological factors that currently impede such access. Excellency and distinguished delegates, increasingly and rightly so, Indian oil and gas companies are actively taking part in this clean energy transition. In order to reduce carbon footprint, these companies will be focusing more on green energy investments such as renewable, biofuels and hydrogen going forward. We are also actively encouraging industry in general, oil and gas companies in particular, become participants in this solar transition. I am happy to announce that 5 public sector undertakings under our ministry will be joining ISA Coalition for Sustainable Climate Action as corporate partners and will be contributing to ISA's Corpus Fund. These public sector undertakings include Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, ONGC, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, IOCL, Bharat Corporation Limited, BPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, HPCL, and Gas Authority of India Limited, GAIL. Our oil and gas companies are also making efforts to deploy solar panels across the value chain of their operation, and current installed solar capacity is 270 megawatt. Additional 60 megawatt solar capacity will be added in the coming years. we have taken up the mission of solarizing about 50% of the fuel station owned by the PSU companies in the next 5 years. More than 5,000 fuel stations of Indian Oil and the largest public sector oil marketing company were solarized last year. A sustainable amount of solar PV capacity was also added by oil and gas companies in the last few years. The oil and gas public sector undertaking are increasingly evaluating new opportunities in the solar and renewable energy space for the diversification. Recently, French major Total has also announced investment of buying over 2 gigawatt operating PV plants in India. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic presented challenges, we are in the process of overhauling India's supply chain and reduce over-dependency on the import of the solar modules. Under the Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, before announced by Honorable Prime Minister Modi, our country has received proposals from various players for about 10 gigawatt of fresh solar equipment manufacturing. In line with Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call to action for the developing low-cost indoor solar cooking solution, our company IOCL has tied up with the Sun Rocket System, a US-based startup working in the niche area of solar energy-based products. We are encouraging Indian oil and gas companies to develop such innovative and scalable tie-ups in solar sector, which have the potential to make nationwide impact. The platform provided by ISA perfectly fits and matches growing energy needs of countries across the globe. The oil and gas companies in India will work closely with ISA to explore opportunities for implementation of solar-based projects in India as well as in other countries, particularly other developing countries where ISA is focusing for faster development of solar energy infrastructure. I am confident that large energy partnership for Indian oil gas industry will have paved the way for a new era of solar development not only within India but also outside. Excellency and distinguished delegates, with a clear vision and augmentation of sufficient resource, there is a need for collective efforts of all levels, governments, industry leaders, innovators and academic and technology developers to ensure that benefits of revolution become accessible to all countries across the globe. The key to this information transformation and transition in which advances is solar technology and their deployment at affordable price globally. Once again, I would like to congratulate my ministerial colleague and President of ISA Assembly, Sri R.K. Singh, the Director General of ISA, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, and other officials from ISA for bringing together the key stakeholders of the solar technology in a single platform through this summit. I am confident that we will continue support to the ISA and its initiative and to be part of this very important global journey for the benefits of the humanity. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I request the Honorable Minister for Power, New and Renewable Energy and Skill Development Government of India and the President of the ISA Assembly, His Excellency Shri R.K. Singh, to read out the inaugural message from the Honorable Prime Minister of India. But before that, let me tell you that Shri R.K. Singh has been heading ISA as President of the ISA Assembly from September 2017. ISA has also made great strides under his leadership. Over to Shri R.K. Singh, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chairman. My cabinet colleague, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, Mr. Barbara Pompili, the Minister of Ecological Transition, Government of France, Her Excellency Mr. Kadri Sampson, the European Commissioner for Energy, honorable ministers from various ISA member countries, the Nobel laureate, Dr. Stanley Whittingham, Mr. Bernard Picard, the founder and chairman, Solar Impulse Foundation, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, the director of ISA. Excellency, let me welcome you to this august gathering from across the globe for the first World Solar Technology Summit being organized by the International Solar Alliance. Excellencies,
The Prime Minister of India was supposed to deliver the inaugural address in person, but he has been called away due to some pressing engagements. And I have the proud privilege of reading out his message, his inaugural message. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, greetings and a warm welcome from India on this inaugural session of the first World Solar Technology Summit of the International Solar Alliance. This summit provides an ideal occasion to discuss the future of technology in solar energy. India and France had jointly taken the initiative to establish the International Solar Alliance in 2015. The seeds of the idea, sown 5 years ago, have today blossomed into an intergovernmental alliance with 87 signatory nations and 68 full-fledged members. There are other stakeholders such as development agencies, non-governmental agencies and businesses. This alliance had been set up to generate a global dialogue on solar energy, particularly in solar-rich nations that do not possess the resources to utilize it. The objective of the alliance was to pool together the resources and the demand for solar technology as well as finance. The membership of the International Solar Alliance has now been opened up for all the member countries of the United Nations. I strongly urge all nations to join this critical initiative to protect our Mother Earth and scale up the utilization of solar energy as a tool against climate change. Friends, 5 years ago, world leaders had taken a pledge to restrict the rise in global temperature through a gradual reduction in the dependence on fossil fuels. India has the lowest per capita carbon emissions in the world, but we have still pressed ahead with the deployment of renewable energy at a frenetic pace. We have enhanced our installed renewable capacity by 2.5 times and increased our solar installed capacity by more than 13 times. Globally, India now ranks 4th in the terms of renewable power. We have scaled up our non-fossil fuel-based power generation to 134 gigawatts, which is about 35% of our total power generation capacity. We are confident of increasing it to 220 gigawatts by 2022. We want to take renewable energy to every village of our country. Our government is implementing a scheme called PUSUM that aims to replace the use of diesel in our farm sector with solar energy. Under this scheme, we have targeted the solarization of 2.8 million irrigation pumps. Such schemes will not only benefit the environment, but also increase the income of our farmers. Friends, ISA is the first intergovernmental organization with its headquarters in India. We feel honored to contribute to its development and work. India is providing capacity building support to ISA member countries through its ITEC training program. We have also set up a project preparation facility to develop bankable solar energy projects in ISA member countries with the help of Exim Bank of India. In 2018, our government had announced US $1.4 billion worth of lines of credit for covering 27 solar projects across 15 countries. These projects are presently in various stages of implementation. Technology holds the key to scale up the use of solar energy. Technological advancements have already brought about a significant reduction in the price of solar power. A further reduction in cost will provide a major boost to the use and expansion of renewable energy. I am sure that this summit will help in developing new technologies and ensure that they become available to all. The ISA is a part of One World, One Sun, One Grid project. I firmly believe that this project can bring transformational benefits for the entire humanity. I extend my best wishes for successful deliberations at the inaugural session of the World Solar Technology Summit. Narendra Modi. Excellencies, on behalf of the Prime Minister and on my own behalf, I wish you very productive deliberations, and I'm quite sure that at the end of this conference, we will have a clear road ahead. We will have an idea of the clear road ahead on the technological front insofar as solar energy is concerned. Thank you very much. I have to also, along with my cabinet colleague Dharmendra Pradhan, leave for the cabinet meeting. So I'll beg pardon. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers, for taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. I now request Mr. Bertrand Picard, Chairman, Solar Impulse Foundation, to please deliver his address.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and hello to all the excellencies and ladies and gentlemen who are participating in this conference. If we are here all together, it is because we are passionate about solar energy. But we have to understand that not the entire world is participating to this conference. There are also a lot of opposition, of people who are fighting against solar energy. And they are bringing a lot of arguments that we have to be ready to counter. What are these arguments? First, they say it's too expensive. So of course it is not too expensive anymore. It was in the past. But today the world record for the cheapest energy produced ever is 1.6 cents per kilowatt hour with solar energy in Portugal through Acuro Energy. And the record will be beaten again. So we see that no other source of energy can compete with solar power. They say that it is intermittent. It doesn't work at night. It doesn't work when there is no sun. Well, this is exactly the opportunity for new industries to develop the storage capacities. And today we have the storage possibilities. Not only hydrogen, as we heard before, but also the batteries of the electric vehicles. But for this, we have to change the regulation in several countries, and especially here in Europe, where it is still prohibited to go from car to grid and give back the energy that we have stored during the day. Some say that it is a big threat for the oil industry. Well, I think it's an opportunity for the oil industry not to remain oil industries forever, but to become energy industries and to participate and to diversify. And we have some oil companies who show the example of this diversification into a source of energy that is not only much cleaner, but much cheaper. We hear also that it is for climate change. And a lot of people are not convinced about climate change. A lot of people are saying it's far too long in the future, and today we have to deal with the needs of the population. Well, in this case, I think we should not just focus on climate change. We have to argument about pollution, air quality. Air pollution today is killing 8 million people per year. It can be someone of our family. It is not a distant melting of the ice in the South Pole. It is something for today that really has the risk of being today a huge problem. They say we cannot use solar energy everywhere. Yes, it's true. But this is why solar energy has to collaborate with other sources of energy. We are not just a bubble isolated from the rest of the world. Solar energy is going perfectly hands in hands with hydroelectricity, with wind energy, with biomass, even with geothermy. And by the way, there is an oil exploitation company like Schlumberger who has made a diversification into drilling geothermic wells inside the cities to install heat pumps in buildings. And these heat pumps can be run with solar energy. So we see all the links that we can do with other fields to collaborate with as many people as possible to get out of this impression that we give sometimes that we are self-sufficient and that we need nobody else. Of course, we need everyone to participate. Another argument we hear very much is it will not give enough energy. The world is increasing its needs, and we need more and more energy all the time. Well, I think it's an interesting argument, and it shows how much it is vital today to deal with energy efficiency. It is clear that if we continue to waste 50 to 75% of the energy we produce with the low efficiency systems, devices, engines, processes that we have, it is true that it will not be enough. So energy efficiency also goes hand in hand with solar energy. And I would say that today, when we speak about the need of reducing inequalities, about the need of recovering from the COVID crisis, solar energy is also a source of energy that is available for the poorest, for the most remote areas. And this is also something we have to insist on. We are not here to promote only high technology solar cells that will give energy to the developed countries. We are here to be the source of energy that will help the poorest regions to obtain social stability and social peace. In that sense, solar energy is a force for good. We know that, but we have to communicate much more about that. We need to show that a lot of poor countries are getting poorer and poorer every year because they have to spend currencies to buy oil, gas, or coal abroad, instead of producing local wealth and profitable investments locally inside their borders. So we see all these incredible opportunities that we have. The technology is here, but we need to communicate much more, in order to have more support, including governments, including industry, including the media, and show that we have a role to play and that this role is not only in the future, it is already now. I wish you a very good conference, and I hope all these arguments will be able to convince a lot more people to join this fantastic movement of ISA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bekara. It's a great privilege for us today to have the Nobel laureate, Dr. M. Stanley Whittingham, Director, Professor of Chemistry, Institute for Material Research and Material Science and Engineering Program, Binghamton University, New York. And I now request Dr. Whittingham to please address the session.
Thank you very much. What I'd like to discuss is the interaction between solar and energy storage. I believe this is a solution to cleaning the environment and mitigating global warming. And so was made the promise at the Nobel banquet in Stockholm that we would get together and solve this problem. Let me just say that lithium-ion batteries have transformed the adoption of renewable. We can now store solar energy for use at night, and the other key area is wind. Wind blows mostly at night, so we can store that to use in the daytime. And you'll see that batteries and solar can be particularly applicable to solving the problem of transportation and of generation. And this is 40% of the CO2 production. So the other advantage of storage with solar, we can use it at all levels. So we can put on our little devices at milliwatt level, or watt level. The storage can be on the grid or behind the meter, so we have complete flexibility. And I'll show you a few examples of the use of renewable energy and storage below. You can see the solar system. This is a wind storage farm in West Virginia. This is 32 megawatts of batteries that are used to both smooth the wind and shift it. And at the bottom I throw you 3 examples of electric vehicles, a small one in Bermuda that tourists can use, totally electric. What we call a large 16-wheeler here that I'm taking on the test drive, and you can see the large battery pack, and what we call a garbage truck here, also totally applicable for electric vehicles. And you'll see the UK's interest in electric vehicles on the right here. There's a Jaguar EV and a London taxi which the UK ambassador took to Stockholm for the ceremony. Let me very briefly, and I don't want to go into any of the science, but just to make the point that was made earlier, that lithium-ion batteries started in 1972. It took until 1991 for it to be commercially successful. There are other companies in between, but they never made any money. And as pointed out earlier, Exxon, then Esso, wanted to become an energy company, not just an oil company at that time. So we've gone to an array of different anodes. This is the anode compartment of the battery, the electrolyte and the cathode, and we've gone to a number of cathode materials. And we're going to see that continuously change. I think the big push these days is to get to lower cost materials. And I'll show you some issues on this slide. The amount of energy we store per unit weight, per unit volume, needs to increase. It's only about 15 to 25% of theoretical today. We should be able to double that to 50%. And I think you can see on the right-hand side of it, in the red circles, this is how the energy density has changed with time, and it continues to go up. This point, let me also show you really what has driven storage and made batteries viable for renewable energy is the huge change in cost from over $3,000 a kilowatt hour down now to less than about $100 a kilowatt hour. And I should emphasize this is the cell level. If we now look at the battery price at the pack level, that's the full battery, and this is Bloomberg's latest data, you can see the prices come down every year and continues to come down. And this is what's making batteries viable. Right now, the overall performance for these batteries is good enough for solar. It's probably not good enough for fast charging in vehicles. We've got to make a number of changes. We use carbon element and anode. That takes up too much space. I've talked about the cost. We have to improve safety, and that probably means we need some electrolyte components. And the key area here is we've got to get a secure supply chain, and this cannot be dominated by only one area. So India needs its own supply chain, North America needs its own supply chain. And we need a supply chain close to the usage of these batteries. And there are some sustainable issues that we have to address. The amount of cobalt, which is by far the most expensive component, has to be reduced. Preferably eliminated, and all indications are that we can do that. We have to ideally replace the rare earths, particularly used in motors, and clearly we have to recycle all the materials, for example the cobalt or lithium, so we can use those in future batteries. We can't just toss them away. So let me tell you what will change in the next 5 or 10 years. We presently use mostly lead oxides as the cathode. This will not change for 5 or 10 years. We'll have incremental changes. So a facility we build today will still be practical in 10 years' time. Certain phosphate materials will have key markets that are lower cost, they have lower energy density, and certainly they're dominant in China, and Tesla's going to use them for their cars in China. So I think they're quite applicable for solar as well. There are some alternative technologies, disruptive technologies. Has already been mentioned, electrochemical hydrogen production using excess solar wind. If you're talking about large vehicles going long distance, they cannot be powered by batteries alone. So we can use the hydrogen produced from excess solar to power these vehicles using fuel cells. There are a number of applications where you can use supercaps if you need lots of power, not necessarily energy. And I think in almost every case, pumped hydro, if available, will win out for storages of a gigawatt hour or larger. So just to conclude, energy storage combined with solar and wind will help to mitigate climate change. It will enable renewable energy. It's a great match to local solar. You don't have to be tied to the grid. It will increase resilience to natural disasters, and particularly it will help eliminate dirty peaker power plants, and will help all of us to leave a greener world for our children and grandchildren. And I should note in the figure on the right here, you'll notice India was second in deployment of solar energy last year. And I'd just like to leave with a quote from Bill Gates. COVID-19 may be awful, but climate change could be worse. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Whittingham. An absolute honor to listen to you. We now take this momentous opportunity to strengthen our commitment to fulfill the objectives of ISA by presenting the action agenda. I request Dr. Dharendra Yogi Goswami to please take the stage for the announcement of ISA's International Journal on Solar Energy. Dr. Goswami.
Greetings from the University of South Florida, Tampa, Florida, to all of you attending this session from around the world, including my friends and fellow enthusiasts of solar and clean energy. It is indeed a pleasure for me to introduce a new journal of the International Solar Alliance that will help advance the vision of ISA, that is clean energy access for all, and increase the use of clean energy, solar energy, to make it sustainable. This journal will do that by informing and transferring information to the stakeholders around the world. That includes policymakers and planners. It includes energy providers, designers, engineers, financial organizations, energy researchers and other researchers, and at the same time general public. So let me move out of the way. This journal is Solar Compass 360. That is the journal that we will have, hopefully start publishing sometime next year. What will this journal include? First of all, this journal will not duplicate any of the basic science journals that exist today, such as solar energy or solar energy cells and materials or renewable energy, because those journals are doing a great job of publishing incremental scientific advances in solar energy technologies. What this journal will include will be new technology developments, policy developments to increase access to clean energy, economic developments to increase access, especially in the developing countries, manufacturing scale-up to reduce costs, transformative new technologies to reduce costs. For example, it may not be silicon solar cells or other solar cells, but whatever comes up as a transformative technology, this journal will cover, including energy storage. You heard about lithium-ion batteries. Surely, batteries are a way to store energy, but there are many other ways of storing energy also, including solar thermal, including thermochemical, and hydro, and so on. So it will cover all of that. It will also cover technologies of the future, things that hopefully you will find out in the next 10 years, or we could do that. For example, films that would cover buildings that are plasmonic in nature, that just radiate heat into the space to cool the buildings, or nanoscale antennas to convert sunlight to electricity instead of the present solar cells. There may be many such examples, and this journal will cover that. It will also cover case studies. What has worked well in some places that could be duplicated in other places. That is to give energy access to all. It will cover clean energy for transportation, or whatever are the uses where we can use solar energy, it will cover. And by the way, when I say solar energy, I don't just mean direct use of solar energies. That is great, direct use of solar energy. I also include indirect forms of solar energy that includes wind, biofuels, ocean, geothermal, conversion to hydrogen, and whatever ways nature has provided and converted that energy so that it is available to us 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This journal will be open access. That is, readers will be able to access articles without any charge. We want to make sure that that information is available to all without worrying about how much it costs to download those articles. It will be electronic as well as print versions, hopefully available in all libraries in the world and all of the organizations, as well as electronically, so you don't even have to go to the library to get that. It will be published quarterly, and the editorial board of this journal will consist of globally acknowledged experts from around the world. It will have an advisory board consisting of visionary leaders of the world. So, with this introduction, hopefully some of you who are listening will be writers, some of you will be the editors of this journal, and others who will find this information useful and very helpful in bringing energy for everyone as we move to achieve our vision of a sustainable planet Earth. So with that, I thank you, and I wish that this journal provides all the information that you are looking for to fulfill the vision and mission of the International Solar Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goswami. We're certainly looking forward to that journal. And now it's over to DG ISA, Mr. Upendra Tripathi, and DG International Institute for Refrigeration, Paris, Mr. Didier Colomb, to mark this occasion with an agreement between ISA and IIR.
Mr. Colomb will be speaking.
Yes, Honorable President of the ISA Assembly, Honorable Ministers, dignitaries and friends, thank you for making the International Institute of Refrigeration, the IIR, a part of this crucial summit. On behalf of IIR, I am delighted to announce the virtual signing and virtual handing over of our partnership agreement for future actions to tackle the climate challenges. We are sure that this day will mark the beginning of a strong partnership based on collective responsible action. Today, the world collectively suffers from an economic setback. A green recovery, therefore, should sit at the heart of this revival. And this process would be incomplete without a focus on providing clean and affordable energy for all. A strong energy infrastructure has proven to lead to greater economic gains, and the Foundation can ensure food security, safety, and health, and is necessary for life. We are honored to partner with ISA in their efforts to manage thermal demands by solarizing heating and cooling systems at global scale. On the many projects that ISA and IR will jointly collaborate on, I am pleased to share that we have already begun jointly working on the ISA Solar Cooling Initiative. Developing sustainable and solar-powered cooling systems sits at the heart of the Montreal Protocol, the Paris Agreement, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Reducing emissions from cooling systems through the phase down of fluorinated gases, a wider use of solar energy, and energy efficiency shall be a world priority. I am delighted to share with all of you that we did not have to look very far to find inspiration to develop this program. Following India's lead on effective management of emissions from the thermal sector and the development of the world's first national cooling action plan, ISA and IIR will be developing sustainable heating and cooling systems in our member countries, ISA and IIR member countries, with the aim of providing clean and affordable energy for all. With this, I thank you once again. Merci.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Tripathi, would you like to add something, or should I go on with the...
Only one person talks, that's pre-decided, so.
Okay. I now request over to DG Global Green Growth Institute, Republic of Korea, His Excellency Mr. Frank Reichbergen, to mark this occasion with an agreement for the promotion of 1 million solar parks. So this is between DG ISA and DG Green Global Growth Institute. Mr. Reichbergen?
Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and participants attending virtually, it's my honor to have this opportunity to address you today at the World Solar Technology Summit. The Global Green Growth Institute is an intergovernmental treaty-based organization that came into existence in the year 2012, primarily to support developing countries and emerging economies to transition to a model of environmentally sustainable and socially inclusive economic growth. That is what we define as green growth. Today we have 38 member countries in Africa, Asia.
Moderator, we are not sharing very well. I don't know if you, but I think his voice is low. If we can maybe speak up so that we don't miss anything. Thank you. Is this better?
A little louder.
This microphone better. Much better?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Shall I restart?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and participants attending virtually, it's my honor to have this opportunity to address you today at the World Solar Technology Summit. The Global Green Growth Institute, GGI, is an intergovernmental treaty-based organization that came into existence in the year 2012, primarily to support developing countries and emerging economies to transition to a model of environmentally sustainable and socially inclusive economic growth. That is what we define as green growth. Today we have 38 member countries in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and the Pacific. GGI has a unique in-country presence with over 300 of our staff and consultants embedded in member and partner governments in over 30 countries. We support our members in the development of green growth policies and have mobilized about $2 billion in green and climate finance for their implementation. The green investment projects that GGI has developed and financed have been largely focused on solar energy. Today, ISA and GGI have signed an MOU that we're celebrating through this occasion to support the deployment of 1 million solar irrigation pumps in the next 5 years.
This MOU builds on the complementary strength that each of our organizations brings to the table to support our common developing country members' needs to achieve green growth, climate resilience, and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. This 1 million solar pump initiative can become an important step towards achieving cross-sectoral efficiencies in the agriculture, water, food nexus. Solar-powered irrigation has core benefits for climate action, poverty reduction, and food security. It reduces greenhouse gas emissions by displacing diesel or grid-powered electric pumps in current irrigation systems, and increases climate resilience and water security in areas currently dependent on rain-fed agriculture. The current market for solar irrigation pump, the current potential market, in sub-Saharan Africa and India alone is about $16 billion, representing some 5 million units. GGI and ISA invite like-minded organizations to join us in delivering this ambitious project successfully. Thank you. Namaste. I wish you all a very productive and healthy deliberation at the World Solar Technology Summit 2020.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And now the next item on our action agenda is to mark the occasion with an agreement between ISA and NTPC for the implementation of 47 projects in ISA member countries. And it's over to the CMD, National Thermal Power Corporation, Mr. Gurdeep Singh.
Thank you. Excellencies, esteemed delegates and participants connected from across the world, a very good afternoon to you all from Delhi. Today it is truly a historic occasion with the commencement of the first World Solar Technology Summit, bringing together the stakeholders across the world onto one platform with a shared ambition to harness the abundant, clean and green energy of sun to ensure affordable power for all. We are thankful to ISA President, His Excellency Sri R.K. Singh for providing this forum wherein we can extend our capacities to collaborate in worldwide implementation of the solar projects. NTPC, the largest power utility of India with about 63 gigawatt installed capacity, has last decade played a key role in bringing a solar power revolution in India. NTPC Group, with approximately 4 gigawatt of renewable capacity, mostly through solar, is surging ahead to add more than 5 gigawatt solar capacity addition in next 2 years. And we aspire to add 30 gigawatt of renewables by 2030. NTPC is the first mover in setting up the large-scale floating solar projects in India. Around 250 megawatt of solar projects are under construction as on date. NTPC is aggressively working on solar-based green hydrogen as sustainable option for future energy. NTPC has been one of the first corporate partners of the ISA, and this partnership further evolved with the endorsement of NTPC as project management consultant through a competitive process. NTPC is eager to share its experience with ISA member countries and would like to extend all possible help in increased deployment of solar energy technologies in the member countries. We are thankful to Government of Togo and Government of Mali for showing confidence in our capabilities by providing us opportunity for implementation of 285 megawatt and 500 megawatt solar projects respectively. I am happy to share that today we have signed an agreement with ISA for implementation of solar projects in 47 LDCs and SIDS member countries, and we are eager to work closely with the member country governments in identifying the projects and their implementation. We look forward to many such collaborations, opportunities coming out from this esteemed forum through innovative ideas and solutions. I understand that ISA is already working on creating world's first bank for solar funding, and this will go in a long way ensuring clean and affordable energy to masses, and thus in turn ensure energy security, equity and justice. NTPC, the power maker of India, is at your service to fulfill the vision of Honorable Prime Minister of India, one sun, one world, one grid, through worldwide implementation of solarization initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gurdeep Singh. The next item on our action agenda is to mark the occasion is an MOU between three institutions, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, the World Bank Group, and ESA, to take forward the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, one sun, one world, one grid. And I first request the Secretary, MNRE, Government of India, His Excellency Shri Indu Shekhar Chaturvedi, to please address us.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, dignitaries. I am very happy to announce the signing of a memorandum of understanding today between the International Solar Alliance, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and the World Bank for implementing the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, which, as you all know, has been envisioned by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. In this partnership, the International Solar Alliance will act as the nodal agency for all activities related to the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, and will advise the Government of India on the action to be taken. The funding for the initiative will come from the World Bank through its technical assistance program, SUPRAMA, and as you all know, the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative is based on the idea that the sun never stops shining, and it's always shining in some part of the world, and energy from that part of the world can be used in some other part of the world where it is dark. So thank you very much, and I'm very happy that this MOU has been signed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chaturvedi. And now I'd like to invite Country Director, World Bank Group, Mr. Junaid Ahmed, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to represent the World Bank Group in the signing of the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative with MNRE and ISA. I think it's very important to recognize that this approach of One Sun, One World, One Grid is based on Prime Minister's vision. The Honorable Prime Minister of India's vision is based on three very important principles. First is the principle of sustainability. We have now pivoted to a world of energy transition where we are moving towards sustainable energy, and this initiative is part of that pivot. Second is a recognition of the interdependency we have in the world. COVID-19 shows the difficult interdependency, but what this will show is the ability of the world to actually act together for the benefit of the world. So the interdependency is a second principle. And the third is what I believe is India's commitment to play its global role, what we call Lighthouse India. I think these three principles of sustainability, interdependency, and India's global role will be pivotal in ensuring One Sun, One World, One Grid, where renewable energy, solar energy, will feed into a global grid. The World Bank Group is committed as a multilateral to support this initiative, and we will hopefully bring in other partners in its financing, in its implementation. Right now, we will focus on really helping the government and ISA lay down the fundamentals of what will it take to achieve this vision of the Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you, everyone. That concludes this action agenda phase. And I now request His Excellency, the Honorable Ambassador Clara Katik, Minister for Infrastructure, Rwanda, to please address the gathering.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Minister for Power and Renewable Energy of India and the President of ISA Assembly, Honorable Minister for Ecological Transition from Government of France, Honorable Ministers from various ISA member countries, European Commissioner for Energy, Nobel Laureate, Dr. Stanley Whittingham, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be speaking to such a large and diverse gathering of stakeholders from across the globe present here today. I would like to begin by thanking the International Solar Alliance for taking the initiative to hold the first World Solar Technology Summit. The setup of the International Solar Alliance was a great initiative since it provides a platform for fostering innovation through facilitating deployment of solar technologies at scale while promoting research and development and enables knowledge exchange between member countries. With such an event, several insights will emerge from the planned session, and these will play a key role as we transition towards the next phase of the solar revolution. In Rwanda, we have already recognized the importance of innovation and novelty to sustain our pace of solar deployment. Through our national strategy for transformation, we have set a target of achieving universal access to electricity by 2024. This is going to be achieved through a combination of on-grid and off-grid electricity connection at 52% and 48% respectively. The national energy policy also prioritizes the deployment of renewable energies, of which solar is included, and the set target is to deploy over 60% before the end of 2030. And today, the renewable generation mix is at 55%. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we also have the electrification strategy that sets a framework which opens a window for the sector, massive off-grid electrification of households that are located away from the grid. Also complemented by a national electrification plan that clearly highlights that will be connected using grid solutions. In the year 2015, 15% of the households countrywide have been connected using standalone solar home systems. In order to increase delivery of solar systems, on solar home systems standards have been put in place. In addition to this, guidelines and licensing frameworks for the deployment of mini grids have also been developed to guide and ease private sector involvement. All the above initiatives go hand in hand with the government of Rwanda's policy to promote the private sector participation and stimulate innovation as well as massive outreach. This encourages the creation of innovative ideas, marketing and financing models such as the pay-go system and innovative financial support delivery systems dedicated at promoting the solar subsector. The government of Rwanda has also deployed financial instruments such as the Neo Energy Fund and result-based financing that aim at ensuring that solar home systems are accessible and available to all households at affordable rates. These two instruments are expected to electrify at least more than 400,000 households countrywide. Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to note that the discussions planned throughout the day will focus on diverse subjects of innovation in end-use applications, business models, finance, and PV market development, among others. And this will provide a holistic picture of the state of the evolution of solar technologies. I'm sure that we shall take back some very important lessons from this summit, which can be further explored for effective use elsewhere, including Rwanda. I look forward to more initiatives such as these from ISA, which will facilitate and enhance our cooperation and collaboration. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador, sir. I request His Excellency Mr. Luis Miguel Inchausti, Honorable Minister for Energy and Mines, Republic of Peru, and Vice President of ISA Assembly, Latin America and Caribbean region, to please present his address.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this last session of solar energy beyond the energy sector. I would like to start with an overview of the general benefit of using this energy resource and present the topics that we will cover in this panel discussion. Due to the crisis generated by the effect of the climate change at the 2015 United Nations Conference on Climate Change in Paris, the International Solar Alliance was launched, which at the time was an important initiative, and today it is a reality, composed of the countries with the best solar energy resource of the planet. The framework agreement on the establishment of the International Solar Alliance was signed by 86 countries and ratified by 68 of them, including Peru. In this regard, our country was elected to occupy one of the 4 vice presidents of the Alliance for the Latin American and Caribbean region for the period 2018-2020, and we are currently carrying out to this role. Committed to the global effort to mitigate the effects of the climate change, Peru, in collaboration with ISA, developed the Sun World Peru 2019, which had a very good international reception. The objective of this event was to position our country as a technology hub in the generation and use of solar energy and other clean energy technologies, an objective that we have been working on every day along these lines. The President of the Republic of Peru, Martín Vizcarra, proposed in his closing speech to hold the Renewable Energy Summit within the framework of the bicentennial of our country's independence. Renewable energy resources have an increasing presence in our society, and their growth is unstoppable. Peru is a country with high potential for the generation of energy from renewable resources such as solar, especially in the south, where the solar plants are located, in addition to having excellent wind resource potential along the coast, and favorable conditions to generate geothermal energy in the southern volcanic chains. The Minister of Energy and Mines promotes the use of clean energy for sustainable development, both nationally and regionally, in support of one of the objectives established by United Nations, which is to achieve the universal access to electricity by the year 2030. For this reason, in 2008, the legislative decree number 1002 was issued, and with it a series of reforms to modify the energy matrix and enable the introduction of the new technology to meet the national energy demand, including the solar energy. We are currently working on the National Energy Plan to 2040, from which the renewable energy plan will be developed, that will identify the optimal infrastructure that the electricity sector requires to supply part of its demand with renewable source. The participation of renewable energy in the national energy matrix is amongst Peru's primary political objectives. So, it is necessary to generate a shift among all actors and the population in general in order to provide the sustainable to these measures. The exponential growth that solar energy has had in the world is undeniable, both due to its low cost and because of the great diversity of opportunities it offers to improve people's quality of life. In addition to the large-scale global generation of electricity, solar technology can also help to close gaps in access to electricity in isolated areas through the implementation of photovoltaic panels. Solar energy has so many applications that we are still finding new use for it. We have seen in many countries the widespread distributed generation in residence areas, utilizing solar rooftops. It also knows that the continuously dropping cost of battery allows for solar energy to be stored in order to be used another times, or to sell the surplus to electricity grid. In Peru, we are working to develop distributed generation to support a cleaner and more sustainable electricity sector. Likewise, we can now charge electric vehicles with energy generated from solar panels, and technology that is being implemented in many countries and can improve people's quality of life due to lower emissions of greenhouse gas and local contaminant from the production of electrical energy, to the use of this less contaminating mode of transport, resulting in a cleaner and more sustainable use of energy. Finally, I want to highlight other important use of solar energy that we can see in use today, such as public lighting with photovoltaic panels, the use of these panels in a cold chain to transport medicine or perishable foods, its application in agriculture through of the use of solar pumps, its use in remote and urban areas through solar heat, and also in heating homes in high ambience areas such Peru, among the many other important applications that we will develop in this final session. But not before thanking each of you for your participation, and on behalf of Peru, our sincere gratitude to the International Solar Alliance for the invitation. Many thanks.
Minister in charge, thank you, sir. I'd like to remind all our participants that we have to close this session at 6:15. And now I'd like to request the Honorable Minister of Mines and Energy, Togolese Republic, and Vice President of the ISA Assembly, Africa Region, His Excellency Marc Dederve Adley Petamon, to present his address.
Bonjour à tous, j'espère que j'aurai la parole. Bonjour à tous. Merci de nous avoir donné la parole. Tout d'abord, je voulais exprimer toute ma joie de participer à ce premier sommet mondial consacré aux technologies solaires. Et je voulais vous dire combien nous attendons beaucoup de ce sommet. Monsieur le Président de l'Assemblée générale de l'Alliance solaire internationale, Madame la coprésidente de l'Assemblée générale de l'Alliance solaire internationale, Monsieur le vice-président de l'Assemblée générale de l'Alliance solaire internationale, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, chers collègues, Monsieur le directeur général de l'Alliance solaire internationale, distingués invités à vos rangs, grade tout protocole respecté, Mesdames et Messieurs, avec votre permission, je voudrais à la suite du mot de bienvenue de M. Pandra Triparti, directeur général de l'Alliance solaire internationale, message réconfortant et plein d'orientation, lui rendre un hommage solennel ainsi qu'à sa suite qui, dans cette étroite collaboration, travaille inlassablement pour atteindre les objectifs de l'Alliance solaire internationale. Aussi, je voudrais profiter de cette rencontre virtuelle pour, au nom du président de la République togolaise et au nom du gouvernement togolais, adresser mes compliments de reconnaissance aux différentes autorités de ce grand pays qu'est l'Inde. Au même moment, permettez-moi de féliciter tous les membres de l'Alliance pour l'implication combien inébranlable au succès de l'Alliance solaire internationale. Mesdames et Messieurs, nous ignorons le souci commun qui habite l'humanité en ce moment. Il s'agit de la pandémie à coronavirus et il est donc de notre devoir d'aider nos populations à trouver des solutions pendant cette période si difficile. Malheureusement, nous n'avons pour le moment qu'une seule arme qui est celle des mesures ou des gestes barrières. Nous sommes appelés donc à ne pas se lancer d'en parler pour le bien de l'humanité. En dépit de l'existence de cette pandémie, l'humanité ne doit en aucun cas baisser la garde concernant la mutualisation des efforts, la synergie dans les actions, l'exécution des projets, l'orientation dans tous azimuts et ce sommet dédié à la technologie solaire est une preuve que notre alliance commune reste dans ce dynamisme pour relever beaucoup de défis, notamment celui de l'accès à l'énergie. Nous ne sommes pas encore à l'heure des bilans, mais comme vous le savez, de nombreuses activités et rencontres ont été menées en Afrique comme dans les autres continents grâce aux orientations de la Direction générale de l'Alliance solaire internationale. En effet, nous ne saurons atteindre nos objectifs qu'à une seule condition, celle de nous mettre en parfaite synergie. Mesdames et messieurs, chers participants, ce sommet revêt une importance capitale pour nous car la question d'accès à l'énergie se pose avec acuité sur le continent africain et est au cœur des préoccupations de tous les gouvernements. Il s'agit, après tout, comme l'évoque si bien ce sommet, de l'absence de l'accès universel à l'énergie, de l'équité énergétique et de l'accessibilité financière. Des questions communes à de nombreux pays membres de l'Alliance solaire internationale. L'accès à l'énergie révèle un double enjeu en Afrique, à savoir fournir une énergie à moins coût pour le développement économique d'une part et de lutter contre le changement climatique. En matière de changement climatique, l'Afrique, qui est le continent le moins consommateur d'énergie, présente également l'indicateur par habitant le plus bas pour l'émission des gaz à effet de serre. Cependant, c'est l'une des zones les plus touchées par le changement climatique. Pour relever ces défis, nous misons sur les énergies renouvelables dont l'Afrique regorge d'immenses potentialités, notamment le solaire. Au niveau continental, beaucoup d'initiatives sont prises. Nous pouvons citer entre autres l'initiative africaine pour les énergies renouvelables. Sa principale mission est de mobiliser les gouvernements africains derrière des objectifs partagés d'amélioration des cadres réglementaires afin d'attirer les investisseurs et de renforcer la compétitivité. On peut également citer la création du centre régional pour les énergies renouvelables et l'efficacité énergétique en Afrique de l'Ouest. Et on peut enfin citer l'initiative de Lomé, soutenue par la France, l'Inde et l'Alliance solaire internationale, et qui est en cours de mise en place et qui est le résultat d'une synergie de réflexion en 6 pays pilotes que sont le Bénin, le Burkina Faso, le Ghana et le Gabon, le Mali, le Niger et le Togo. L'initiative de l'ONU se veut donc un cadre collectif supranational destiné à faciliter, accélérer et dérisquer les investissements solaires sans limitation de taille ou de puissance. Elle a pour vocation également à s'appliquer à terme à tous les pays membres de l'Alliance solaire internationale. Distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, au moment où nous parlons de technologie solaire, nous nous réjouissons que les multiples efforts consentis dans la recherche et le développement ont permis de diversifier les applications du solaire, de baisser les coûts et de rendre la technologie accessible aux pays du Sud. Cependant, beaucoup reste à faire, notamment dans le domaine du stockage, qui devrait résoudre le problème d'intermittence et dont le coût reste encore élevé. Aussi, la question de transfert de technologie se pose toujours et nous voulons les initiatives de l'Alliance solaire internationale dans ce domaine à travers son programme STAR-C et celle de la Banque mondiale qui ont permis à l'Université de Lomé au Togo d'être sélectionnée pour abriter un centre d'excellence dans le domaine des énergies renouvelables. Je vous exhorte alors à une participation très active pour que nous arrivions à répondre efficacement aux soucis de l'Alliance qui sont les nôtres. C'est dans cet esprit d'exhortation commune que je vais une fois encore remercier son Excellence, Monsieur le Premier ministre Narendra Modi, qui, ensemble avec le président français de l'époque, ont eu très tôt l'idée de mettre sur pied l'Alliance solaire internationale, qui est rapidement devenue l'institution forte que nous connaissons aujourd'hui. Enfin, je formule le vœu que, de ce premier sommet mondial de technologie solaire, émane une vision claire du développement de l'énergie solaire afin de nous outiller à relever ensemble les défis énergétiques actuels et futurs. Vive l'Alliance solaire internationale. Je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
You are welcome.